Hello there. First it was Austria, now it's Greece. As per usual, please like, subscribe and comment below. And when subscribing, please do press that little bell, but also select the all option, or you won't get any notifications when I publish a new video. The land that gave us the Elgin Marbles and Vangelis has decided to follow in Austria's footsteps and impose new draconian rules on the non-compliant. Greece has decided that the over 60s must be forced to take the you-know-what. Yes, that'll be book your first dose by the 16th of January or face a monthly €100 fine from your average €730 a month pension, says Reuters. Westminster will be watching this keenly. But the BBC and the rest of the mainstream press will not believe this is noteworthy to give much coverage to, if at all. The Greek Prime Minister, Kyriakos Mitsotakis, said he imposed this requirement with a heavy heart. And this follows on from his recent decree that only the compliant would be able to visit indoor spaces like restaurants, gyms, cinemas and museums. But nowhere in the reports do I hear the word temporary. And with no government in the EU, nor Brexit UK, questioning the Austrian decision for a blanket mandate for all citizens starting in February, you have to assume there will also be a political silence over this latest encroachment on human rights. And the silence of the EU Commission tells us all we need to know about where Brussels and its bureaucrats would like to see this all go. EU and UK governments will be taking copious notes. And Bloomberg has already called Austria the testing ground, while others call it a roadmap. While elsewhere in the world, The Week reported earlier in the month that Indonesia mandated it for all adults in February, with Micronesia and Turkmenistan following suit in July. Australia and New Zealand are also just about there by default. And now that EU countries are getting on board, this will spread, and spread fast. Germany is already considering it. And how many other EU member state civil servants have been quietly instructed to check out how this could be implemented in their countries? And how many UK civil servants are secretly working on this right now in our very own Home Office? They are always churning out just-in-case reports and recommendations, remember. Maybe that work has already been completed. Any bets? Also, remember that care home and NHS staff are already under these rules here. And the UK mainstream press never asks any minister about all of this. Although Boris Johnson was asked about this by the American network NBC News back in September, where he slammed Biden's attempt to force compliance, saying the US president should instead use sweet reason and persuasion. And he went on to say, "People feel very strongly about not having the state mandate something in my country." Now, that was back in September. But when Austria declared their intentions earlier this month, I heard not a peep from him. If he can criticise the US in September, why not Austria and Greece in November? And has anyone heard any minister or even MP ask questions in the House about this? If they have, I don't remember it being reported. So what's changed since September? And it all started as 3 weeks to flatten the curve, and right now we've just started 3 weeks just in case. So what's next? 3 weeks for a rumour. Now, I did recently have a go at Hillary Clinton for trying to tell the UK how to run its health policies, so some could say UK politicians shouldn't interfere in other countries either. But for me it all depends on what end of the human rights spectrum you're talking about. Governments should be open to wide criticism when they're looking to curtail rights. especially if those rights look set to go permanently. Anyway, for those that think the UK would never follow Austria or Greece, they have obviously not been paying proper attention to what's been happening here over the last 18 months. And more importantly, how easily people were nudged into compliance. But so far the government has shied away from the full Austrian approach of comply or goodbye. Boris has pulled back from saying it's your choice to either submit or exit society. But would a salami slice Greek approach be more acceptable? Now I will just point out that the statutory instrument bringing in the new rules for England for the next 3 weeks have added in the word suspected where the new strain is concerned. That person is suspected of or confirmed as having it, which sounds to me like proof is not needed to send you to your home, only that you've been near someone who is suspected of having it. And MPs have just agreed to those new rules by voting them through by 434 votes to 23. And also remember that today, in the run-up to Christmas, somebody of influence told us to not socialise if we don't need to. Which means what exactly? Who decides if we do or do not need to socialise? Where do you think this is all headed? Forget the reassurances of those that have already been proven to be untrustworthy and ask yourself, where do you think and feel the government's course of action is really taking us, based upon all observable events here in the UK and further afield across the earth? And these new restrictions that came into effect in England earlier today are not due to be reviewed for 3 weeks, which is after Parliament goes into recess. So MPs might not get to have a say on what a few people decide about those rules and fines continuing or not, unless MPs are recalled to Westminster. And those 3 weeks take us to the 21st of December. So is it any surprise that many people are already cancelling their Christmas plans down? But why are MPs going home for Christmas when ministers and civil servants have actively taken steps to not only make family and social gatherings less likely, but also to reduce the standing of Christmas in our country? But before I get onto that, I just want to say a massive thank you to all my Super Thanks, Patreon and PayPal supporters, as well as those that do buy a mug with my mug on it. Links in the descriptions box below. You really do help me keep this channel going. While they are home celebrating over the Christmas period, those MPs would be advised to think about why they get that period of time off in the first place. These MPs have sat on those green benches, fat, dumb and happy with their thumbs up their posteriors, while the civil service banned the use of the word Christmas. Presumably because they think that Christianity is the most offensive religion on the planet. Those MPs, ministers and the PM emblazon their social media feeds throughout the year with every other conceivable religion, but don't feel that they can defend the use of the word Christmas. Now what's happened is that the slogan, "Don't take COVID home for Christmas," aimed at students going home for Christmas, was vetoed by the Sir Humphrey Applebys, with a leaked email saying, "We have been advised by the Cabinet Office that we should not use the word Christmas, as the government campaign needs to be inclusive, and some religions don't celebrate Christmas." I don't care. It is a Christmas holiday. If they don't want the time off, go back to work or something. It's Christmas. We send Christmas cards and Christmas presents. We eat Christmas cake and we pull Christmas crackers. Many of us attend church. So what is it about our senior politicians and civil servant mandarins that they have to continually batter our Christian heritage? It'll be interesting to see what Boris tweets out about celebrating this Christmas. You could be forgiven for thinking we were governed by those with a hate for our nation's main religion, or that some of them might rather we follow a more Luciferian path. Or is it that they just want to further dismantle an already partially levelled UK cultural base? Christianity is becoming today the only religion in the UK that people can openly attack. And I reckon the day is approaching when we see Christianity being the only religion not afforded the status of being a protected characteristic. Only intolerant people would be offended by the name of another religion. Only intolerant people would be offended by the word Christmas. So why should we, as a majority, have to pander to a minority of intolerant people who are all too eager to find fault with our country and culture at every turn and so drive divisive wedges between us all? I say no. We are going into the Christmas season, and I will not be buying anything that makes money out of this period of the year but refuses to use the word Christmas on the wrapper while so profiting. As far as I'm concerned, the use of the word festive is wrong because it's weak and shallow and does not reflect the truth of Christmas, where we celebrate the birth of Jesus Christ. And for those that don't like that, tough. Is Christianophobia a word? If not, it should be. Because Christianity is being attacked a lot these days, isn't it? How come so many people are so afraid of this Christian religion and its teachings? But it's not just the UK ministers and civil servants. The European Union is at it too. Or at least they tried to, and at least they've seen some sense. The EU Commission had issued a guidebook on inclusivity, with guidance to avoid the word Christmas and to not use the term Christian name, as well as the usual pronoun guff. But the Times reports that's now been pulled, because there were complaints that it was an immature document and needed more work. No, what it needs is the sacking of the immature-minded dorks behind that sort of stuff. And remember, those immature but dangerous people pull a wage for pulling stunts like this. Now for a change in tone. Pull yourself closer and get ready for some good Brexit news. Just in case you missed it, the most powerful banks within the Eurozone have sent a letter to Brussels demanding that they retain their access to, wait for it, the City of London. That's right, they fear that without continued access to the £563 trillion UK financial market, they face a cliff edge. And they went on to say that if the so far temporary arrangements are not continued, it will result in increased costs and operational burdens for EU firms, while also resulting in trapped assets. Now that sounds nasty. The Telegraph reports that the letter was sent by such bodies as the International Swaps and Derivatives Association, the European Association of Cooperative Banks, the European Banking Federation, the Futures Industry Association, the Global Financial Markets Association, and the Nordic Securities Association. Not exactly small fry, you understand. And they are demanding that the EU Commission continues the current arrangement for at least the next 3 years, during which time, of course, the city has the opportunity to further plug itself into the EU. Now remind me, what was it that the Ramonas said would happen to the City of London after Brexit? So, what are your thoughts on Greece? Please like and comment below.